Hey, hello everyone. Welcome back to my series. Today I have Jahzeel. So first, could you tell me a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Yes. So, hello everyone. I am Jahzeel, and I am currently in Australia doing some dancing. I'm a senior dance coach for an organization that I met 13 years ago, or maybe longer, and they invited me out last year to spend a year here, just doing some dance teaching. So that's what I'm currently doing in Australia.
hmm So, so we both interned for Lea Ann. Could you tell me about your experience and something you learned from her?
Yeah, so my experience with Lea Ann was awesome because Lea Ann is awesome.
Yeah.
But it also gave me the opportunity to really figure out if PR was for me or not. And while doing that, Lea Ann and I would always have conversations about like what I felt like my purpose was. And she knew that I danced at a young age as well. So she was like, "Are you sure you want to be in PR? Or do you want to teach?" She saw that as much as I did love PR, there was always that desire to like teach as well. So we would have conversations about that, um, just to make sure that I was in the right field. And I think that was a blessing with working with Lea Ann. She's always, you know, making sure that you are doing what you love
Mhm.
and filling your purpose. So that was the, I guess, the major thing that I got from my experience with Lea Ann, but it also gave me an opportunity to like um, troubleshoot a lot of things where it came to PR
Mhm.
because I didn't go right into teaching dance after leaving Germinder. I actually went into another form of PR,
Mhm.
which was tech PR. Um, but like learning a lot from Lea Ann actually ended up giving me the experience that I needed to get the job in tech. So yeah.
Mhm. So, did you ever like question whether you were supposed to be in PR before you interned with Lea Ann?
No, I didn't, because what I thought PR was, from like, seeing like the
Mhm.
movies and the ads and stuff, you think
Yeah.
it's just like representing a company and being like the face of a company, which
Mhm.
like I was all for. I had the opportunity to interview David, I forget his last name, but he was the dog mayor.
Mhm.
And I loved that side of PR, being face to face with people and interacting with people and networking. But when it came to like the technical side of like putting together the press release and doing like all that stuff, and granted, that's stuff that I learned in uni, in college, St. John's University.
Mhm.
But I think the level to which it was required for me to do it in the PR field right out of college, I wasn't ready for it.
Mhm.
And like I really had to be honest with myself and say like, do I actually love like all of what I'm required to do, or is it just like I want to get to like one aspect of PR?
Mhm.
And if that's the case, I think you really should consider like what your career path is, because if you're
Mhm.
not loving all of it, then maybe it's not really for you. Because
Right.
what I do now in terms of dance, there's parts of it that are tedious, but I still love it.
Mhm.
um, yeah, that makes
Okay. Mhm. So, in general, what would you say your experience has been like as a Black man who teaches dance or just like in a high position in general?
uh, it's been, as a teacher, that you're going to go into a classroom and actually try to teach a subject to your students.
Mhm.
But um, I think what I've learned is that more than me teaching, I'm always learning. And I feel like as a teacher, you should always want to learn. And that gives you the authority to actually be in front of your students. Your desire to always learn and improve will put you in a better position to know how to approach your students, some of who may struggle in certain areas, and then you have to adjust on how you're teaching that particular subject, whether it's dance or it's math or it's science.
Right.
So I had the opportunity to, my last teaching job in the United States was to teach at Excellence Girls Middle Academy.
Mhm.
And so it was an all girls school, which um, it was an amazing experience because it taught me a lot of patience, of course, but also how to be a positive male role model.
Mhm.
The school that I taught at was predominantly Black and brown girls. And I, being raised in a household with beautiful and strong women, educated women, I knew that I had a responsibility to not only teach my students in terms of like the area of dance, but also be an example of um, positive, yeah, a positive role model in their lives. So when it came to um, even the simple thing of communicating with them, making sure that I'm communicating respectfully, and
Mhm.
any time that I made a mistake, um, being humble enough to actually apologize to them. Um, and I feel with them seeing that healthy level of communication from somebody who's their teacher gives them a foundation to go out into the world and know um, what standard and expectations to set for themselves as it relates to communicating and relating with people.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, that I would say I learned more in that experience that I was able to teach.
Mhm.
Um, and that even that relationship, um, the principal calls me now and she's like, are you gonna be in Australia for the whole year? Because we definitely still had a close relationship,
Mhm.
and we definitely still work together, and I look forward to potentially doing more stuff with them in the future.
Right.
um, but that just goes to show the just the importance of making relationships that are long lasting, even as it comes to Lea Ann. Like, what
Mhm.
one of the things that I'm proud about as it relates to Lea Ann and I is that we've always kept in contact over the
Mhm.
years, even as I've moved on to different industries. Um,
Mhm. So, speaking of long-lasting relationships, do you have a mentor or mentee, and what role has that played in your life?
Yeah, I have a couple. In university, I was told to have like a board of executives
Mhm.
for my professional life and as well as my personal life.
Mhm.
But for my professional life, my mentor, Lamont O'Neill, he's a school teacher as well, and he's actually the one responsible for giving me the opportunity to travel to Australia when I was 13.
Mhm.
Um, and that in and of itself was an opportunity for me to see what value I had in a global environment. So as a young Black man coming from migrating from Jamaica to New York and then getting the opportunity to travel the world at 13, my perception of myself changed a whole lot,
Mhm.
um, to where it got me to the point that I was confident enough to pursue a career like PR, where you would have to network with people and communicate and express yourself in a way that people would understand you. So Lamont O'Neill is definitely one of my mentors that I look to in times of making uh, the hard decisions and the right decisions.
Mhm.
And I also want to bring light to the fact that Lea Ann is a huge mentor for me as well. During my time with her, we had amazing conversations about um, race as well, and how you know it plays a role in our society in terms of business, and again as it relates to us relating to each other. Um, so I definitely want to uh, hugely thank Lea Ann for the role that she plays in terms of being an advocate, but also I don't know, a friend, I'm doing some work right now with a few friends that relates to the five love languages, but instead
Mm,
of the five love languages, it's the five justice languages. And in that, we were talking about the discussion of having conversations with loving tension in the midst of it,
mhm,
where you have people who are on opposite sides of um, a topic, but they're able to come and have a common ground because they're both interested in getting to a solution as opposed to being so adamant about their differences. And I
right.
feel like conversations I've had with Lea Ann has allowed for like stigmas to kind of really be shot down or like
Mhm,
um, be proven not true as
mhm,
it relates to how um, we relate to each other, whether from whatever background we're from. So,
mhm.
yeah,
Well, that was my last question. Thank you so much for talking with me now and even before the internship. And you and Lea Ann have like given me a lot to think about, like even throughout the internship, like about my passion and what aspects do I like, what aspects don't I like. And I'm like happy that I can like have those conversations now so that I'm not like stuck later. But yeah, I definitely have like a lot to think about. So thank you for speaking with me.
of course, definitely.
All right, and I'll definitely be keeping in touch with you and Lea Ann. So, yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Sounds
All
good.
right,
Wish you all the luck.
thank you.
No problem.